Well, well, well. Welcome to the Q Talk Show. I am very excited to be here today, you guys. So we have Tay on. She's connecting. I'm not sure. Do you guys hear me double? Because I hear myself double. So it could just, let's just see what that is. And just waiting for Tay to come back on. Tay, are you on? In the meantime, while she's connecting, you guys, it's been a really crazy 2 weeks. I honestly have just been working like a maniac, but I am here today. I still am hearing double, but I'm hoping you guys are not hearing double on my end, so it's gonna make me stop a little bit more. Tay, are you in yet? I see you, but I don't hear you. Well, I see your name. We don't see you yet, nor do we hear you. Nope, she's still connecting. Okay, cool. So while she is doing that, let's just give you guys an update as to what we will be talking about today. We are going to be talking about basically mental health. So we all know that COVID is not that great. Yes, it wasn't great in 2020, nor is it getting, well, it has gotten better, but in terms of the mental health crisis, right? So we all know when COVID started, everybody else was trying to figure out what it is that they're going to do because the world just stopped. All right, Tay is coming back in now. Maybe she had connection error. We all know social media and technology and all this world stuff. But in the meantime, yeah, so we all know that social media, COVID happened and we all went into literally a spiral. Whether some of us went up, some of us went down, some of us knew what we wanted to do, some of us were thankful for it, and some of us weren't. Hey, Tay, how are you, honey? So I was basically just touching on the mental health and about COVID and the things that, transpired. But now that you're here, welcome, beautiful lady. Please let the world know, my talkers, let them know who you are, what you do, and welcome to the show. Welcome to the Q Talk Show.
Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
Oh, I hear you. Forget it's me. I hear you.
How you doing?
I'm good. We're so excited because I'm interested about your podcast because Dose of Rebel is. Am I saying it correctly?
A dose of reveal.
Reveal. So yeah, let us know. Let us know about it. Tell us about you. Everything.
Right. So I heard a bit of being the of this pandemic, and things like that. And so I actually started the podcast at a time where we all was just trying to figure out what we can do instead of just sitting here. I know things were definitely a little different for me because during the entire pandemic, I still had to go to work. I worked for a medical clinic, so at the start of it, I was going to work every day. And then it turned into, come in every couple of days. It never turned into, oh, you're going to work from home. So
you didn't get lucky like us.
No, I didn't get. I wasn't lucky at all. So it wasn't a situation of, being at home and also trying to figure out what to do. But I still felt like I had so much time on my hands and wanted to fill it with learning a new skill. I feel like if we survive the pandemic and we then come out with a skill or doing something or making something or learning something, we really wasted 2.5 years of our time.
Seriously.
If you speak to somebody and something significant that they didn't learn to do, they really just wasted their time, right?
That is
So,
true.
right. So I was surrounded by, I'm gonna say, um, two of my family members,
Mm-hmm.
where we all pretty much like we were our safe haven. These are the
Oh,
group of
okay.
people that we always continue to meet up with. We talk to, start our group chat, certain things
Yeah.
like that, just to
Mm-hmm.
keep our level of insanity, right?
Yeah.
So I think to be honest with you, they pretty much inspire me to do something, right? And you had people here, they was making soaps, making lotions. I thought I can't do any of that. I'm I'm not sitting here making candles, talking about here, buy my candle. I'm not doing none of that, right? I'm not doing any telemarketing. I'm not selling you nothing. I said, let me figure out what is it that I can do that's gonna be easy for me, and
Mm-hmm.
also creating something that's gonna be different for people to listen to and to look at,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I thought of was, let me do a podcast. That's going to be the easiest thing for me to do. One of my jobs is to talk to people all day, so it shouldn't be no problem for me
Wait, what's
to.
one of your jobs?
Uh, well, my day job, I work in a medical clinic,
No, but
so
what did you say? You said one of my jobs is to what
one of
people
my
all day?
jobs is to talk to people all day. So why
That's
not
it.
create something using that that I'm going to be talking?
Mm-hmm.
That was a no brainer for me.
So, what
You know.
exactly do you do in the medical field? What is it that, for those who don't know, because I'm not in the medical field, so there's so
Yeah,
much.
a lot of people. I don't even talk about what I do as my day job.
Are
But
we getting a Q Talks exclusive?
if you want to call it that, because I don't talk to anybody about what I do. If it was up to people, they would just think, I'm sitting on my tail or whatever it is. But my day job, I work in a medical clinic, but I work what you would consider like the social work department, where
Mm-hmm.
I'm a supervisor over care managers that
Mm-hmm.
care for people that need assistance. That's basically
Oh.
what I do. So
So,
even with that, even though I'm a supervisor, I still have a caseload of myself for people that I care for,
mm-hmm.
counsel through, and assist them with, you know, themselves.
Wait,
So
you froze. Wait, you're frozen. Talkers, can you guys
oh.
hear Tay? But Tay, okay, now you're back. Okay. So for those who didn't hear Tay, she works in medical field. She basically helps those who need assistance. She works in the social, in the say for me, the social, what department you work in?
Social work department. You can consider like social work department, case
Social
management,
work,
certain things
case
like that.
management.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm a supervisor within the medical clinic.
So now that we are basically here in mental health, and this topic is all about mental health and the things that come with it. With
Right.
mental health, what would you define for those who, there's a broad spectrum of what mental health can fall under, the categories. What would be your generic definition for mental health? For those who are like, yeah, I'm
Right.
suffering
I
from
like
mental health,
to.
but am I?
Mhm. Mhm. Well, I think we. It's not hard to define, but mental health and what you consider it to be is going to be different for everyone,
Okay.
right? But what what it means to me really is it's the way we think, the way we act, and the way that we feel,
Yeah.
right? And if any of those items are unbalanced, right,
Mm.
it can cause you to have a mental health issue.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it
Okay.
is. And so it's all about the balancing.
So with
right?
COVID happening and everybody is now, so this is how I feel because this is what I was talking about before you came on with the COVID. So we were all, I'm going to
Mm.
speak for myself first. I was in a mind
Okay.
state where I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go in. And then COVID hit. So with COVID hitting,
Right.
that literally steered me into a direction that I did not intend. And then two, it made it easier to make a decision in terms of saying what you were saying, finding a way to occupy myself because I didn't know how long this was going to be. Um, Now
Right.
COVID happened. It was a great deal for me, not for so many people. Other people had, tragedies with COVID. For me, it worked out because it allowed me
Mm.
to align myself, balance myself, align my path, my plan, and then move in that direction. Now, COVID is
Right.
over. For people who, like myself, who've been working through COVID and was grateful for COVID, I feel like those who were grateful for COVID are now getting the post COVID depression because now you
Mm.
got into a routine for 2 years to be able to do, maneuver a kind of way. And now that things are opening
Right.
back up, now you got to leave your home, working from home, like myself. Now you got to get back into the office or get back into the streets or so on and so forth. It's actually now
Mm.
becoming heavier for people to try to get back into that and, that kind of, I would say, routine. So with you being in assistance and especially with medical health, what have you experienced in terms of post-COVID depression or post-COVID issues that are happening right now?
So I say to that is really important to learn who you are. And I think the struggle that people really of is that they don't know themselves. As silly as it may sound, you have to learn who you are to be able to have better control of yourself and your life,
That's
right?
very true.
Because I think the time, especially I could speak for myself, when I was younger, I didn't know who I was. So, going through whatever trials, going through the tribulations and just going through life itself, once you come to a place of learning who you are, it assists you with having better control of everything,
Now,
of
I'm
every
going to
single thing,
piggyback.
things that you get into, things that's coming for you, you know.
Well, I was going
So
to
to answer your
piggyback off
question
of
though,
okay, answer my question. I'll piggyback after.
to answer your question, the pandemic has been easy for me because I'm an introvert. So me being able to handle being social versus being non-social, me having to
This
go
is
to
good.
work every day and know what I need to do at work, it hasn't been a problem for me. So I think for those that need so much stimulation of others, like to be out and about, every week, those are the people that had the most difficulty in friendships, right? But for me, being an introvert, it was
You were
easy
like,
breezy.
now, I was like, for you knowing yourself as an introvert, how do you know if you're unwell? For those who do know themselves, let's move forward. We know we figured out ourselves. We're now understanding our feelings. For me, I like when people say, "Oh, I felt depressed. I had a week of depression." It took a
Right.
while for me to understand that as myself because I didn't believe that I was depressed. Because in my mind, what I was taught, because I'm not in the medical field, of course, I'm in media marketing. When you say the word depression, it
Right.
goes into clinical, and that means medical, and that means medicine, and that means doctors. So how do you
Right.
know you as an individual? How do you know when you are unwell? Like something's not right. I am depressed. How can you get out of depression and not get stuck in
That's a low question.
that?
But
I know.
one of the things that you're gonna know that you're not doing well is when you know that you're not yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know when you wake up and you're not feeling well and you just don't want to do what you need to do for the day. That's the first sign that you're not doing well. right? And then what happens is it doesn't always have to correlate to coming into clinical. You know, I think we all have had a situation where we felt a little depressed about something. We felt a little depressed of, you know, sometimes things not going the way that we wanted to go,
Of course.
which is normal. But you not totally cross that over and say, oh, I'm clinically depressed. I'm not going to be able to get out of this. There's so many situations where we can experience these things and actually get out of it. And then you have
Oh, so Tay went out. So we'll wait till she reconnects. That's probably her connection service. But she's connecting now. But she was basically talking about knowing yourself and knowing when something is not right. When you wake up in the morning, if you know you're used to being one way and you wake up the next morning, something's not right. Tay's back. So yes, finish your statement.
Yes, I don't know how I got this. I don't know how.
Technology.
Right. So I was saying with SMI, which is when you're diagnosed with serious mental illness, right? Yeah. You know, it has to be an amount of time, and it has to be that you are unable to get out of this yourself, right? But I think that have experienced things in these certain feelings and thoughts and behavior in combination that we're like, whoa, you know, this is not our regular self. You know, so
that really touches on something, because now I want to touch on relationships and not being regular selves. When you're in a relationship, there are because I too have experienced, I've dated someone who was battling mental issues, but it wasn't deep enough. Well, I'm not going to say, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. For me, it wasn't, I don't think it was as deep enough for him to seek medical help, but yet it still was bad enough to the point where it did put an anchor in our relationship, where his insecurities showed, and his, like, you know, when he was depressed, I felt like he wanted to bring everybody else with him. And it just didn't, like, how do you help somebody in that situation if that is your significant other? What do you do?
Honey, it's really, no. And I'm shaking my head because I've been in several relationships, where the person has experienced some type of mental health. And I can say anyone that you with that is experiencing it, if you are unable to assist this person, first of all, you have to know what they're going through to even be able to assist and to gear and steer this person in the right direction, you know. But I've experienced being with a person that suffered from, I would say, manic depression, you know, major depression. So I was.
She went out again. Let me tell you guys about technology, all right? We are in this world of technology, and it's a hit or miss. Some days is good, some days is not. Some days is great, some days it's just like, who invented it and why? It's a problem. But welcome back again, Tay. Finish your statement.
Right. So I was just talking about a situation where I was with someone that suffered from depression, and it was really hard to deal with because you would see this person go through this. They'll be stuck in the bed for about 3 days, and you're like, you know, what can I do? I really love this person. I want to find out what is it that I can do to assist this person to getting to where they need to be. But the harsh reality of it is that the person that is suffering has to be able to take care of themselves first before they can allow or let somebody else assist with whatever it is that they're going through.
You know, so funny.
They have to be able to help themselves.
I have a life coach that I've been seeing through therapy, a mix of both. And so my value system, that's what she the way she does it is like going through value systems and figuring out who you are. And my value system is people. So I'm a people pleaser. I like to make sure everybody around me is okay. So for me to be in a relationship with somebody that is not okay, that hurts me. I feel like I end up carrying their burden because I want to lift it up from them. But then that brings me down. And then now I'm in their position. And I have to learn to separate the two. But at the same time, my heart, like love, like I truly love this person and I don't want to see them hurt. So it's like, how do you, because you don't want to break up with them because you don't know what's going to happen. And then two, sometimes like you just can't. But it's like, what do you do? Do you seek help? Do you like who do you go to? Who would you advise us to go to, I should say?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say, if you two cannot handle what is going on, because especially being in a type of relationship like that, you have to be able to talk to the person that you're with, right? Mm-hmm. One thing that I always say that you're always going to hear me say, a lot of people think that communication is the key. When communication is probably like a little keys later. The first thing is comprehension. If you cannot understand what I'm saying to you, or if I can't understand what you're saying to me, there's no way we are going to be able to communicate effectively. So you hear this a lot, oh, communication is key. It's really not. It's comprehension. I have to be able to understand you. You have to be able to understand what I don't like, what I feel like we need to work on in order to make this work, you know, and not to get too spiritual, not to get too allow you to stay in something that you don't need to be in.
Wait, repeat it.
And at some point, those wheels are gonna.
You said not to get too spiritual, and then you froze.
Right, not to get too spiritual, but God is never going to allow you to be in something that you don't need to be in. So the wheels are going to fall off. The wheels are going to fall off at some point. But during that duration, you have to move swiftly and get out of this situation that's not well for you. And I understand, I understand the validity of being with someone that is unwell and you not knowing what to do. But in the same token, this person is not getting well and it's bringing you down. Mm-hmm. We have to have some point. We have to have some point of being able to express how we feel, and if the things are not changing, we're just gonna have to. We're gonna have to.
We touch
have
on
one life. There's no point to living it miserably. We only have one. So do what you need to do. Do what you need to do, and move on.
All right, so talking about moving on. So now we're going to switch gears and talk about anxiety. Anxiety is like this new fad.
Oh, anxiety. Listen, let me tell you. Let me real quick.
No, you're frozen. Say it again.
Look, this technology better get it together. Get it together, tech. So I'm going to say, you brought up anxiety, and I just wanted to tell you about the statistics. So 1 out of 5 adults experience a mental illness, right? So that means if it's you and 4 of your girls, 1 of y'all has a situation where you're not mentally well. And whether it's active or deactivated, you know, whatever, that's it. But the actual statistics, 1 out of 5 adults is experiencing a mental illness condition, right? And so you brought up anxiety. Anxiety is the number one mental health disorder that a lot of people experience. It's the number 1.
Wow. Okay. Because for me, I was like, oh my God, this is like a new fad. All of a sudden, everybody is now anxious. So, why is it now becoming something that a lot of people are talking about? Because it wasn't talked about as much as depression and, you know, bipolar or all the other mental disorders. But anxiety, it was like if someone's having an anxiety attack for us on TV, what it showed, it was just someone like hyperventilating, panicking, and then that's that. But now there's like other facets. Yes, please. Can you touch on the
It's so
different
many.
facets?
It's so many that we don't have the time to review. But you have generalized anxiety. You have panic disorder. You have social anxiety. Everybody knows what anxiety is, where you don't want to be around too many people, right? But the generalized can be something that is a people, place, or thing that causes you anxiety. And so, to answer your question on why is it so much talked about now, the reason for that is it's with anything. When something comes
Mm.
up, and when people are learning what is going on, that's what people want to latch on to, right? So if you never
Pop
heard a
culture.
word before, if you never heard a word before, and that word sounds exciting, you're like, oh yeah, I'm that, or somebody I know, yeah, they're that. So that answers your question on why is everybody
Makes
being
sense.
able to identify
Identify.
with
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, and especially
Mm.
with it being the number one mental health condition that people experience. That's what it is.
Now, is it number one because people really are experiencing it, or is it number one because of the fad where, the word wasn't popular and all of a sudden it's being
No,
used?
no, no, no. It's the number one is because it's what people experience the most.
Okay.
And like I
All
said to
right.
you, the people, place, and thing. There's always going to be a people,
Mm.
place, and thing. Think of, and I don't know if you ever experienced this yourself, but think of a person that you know, whether it's now or in the past. Every time this person would call you, every time you would be around this person gives you hella anxiety,
Mm.
right? Think about a place that you don't like to go to, or say something you've seen on the news. A woman was beaten, raped, and you lived in that neighborhood. You going home, that would give you anxiety, right?
That's why it's number one.
Right. And so a certain thing, whatever you want to list it as, that particular thing can give you anxiety. So that's why it's important, whatever gives you anxiety, to stay away from it. Why are you going to
Okay.
continue to why are you going to continue to torture yourself? And to be honest with you, I don't care if it's your mother, your brother, your sister, or your father. If that person gives you anxiety, stay the hell away from them.
So I'm going to touch on that because I just took a mental health training this past weekend. I had to go to this training seminar. And one of the trainees said that we're in this era of cutting people off. Everybody's cutting people off. And it was like,
What, like
although, like
ghosting, or
ghosting, or,
oh
I'm just
God,
cutting.
I
Yeah,
hate that. I hate
So the thing,
ghosting.
tell me about it. Tell me about it. So the thing is, the reason why, people they said unless someone is physically, emotionally, or mentally abusing you, the way that people are cutting people off is actually endangering you more than it's bettering you, because what ends up happening, it cuts off your line of communication. It doesn't allow you to learn how to communicate, and like you said, to comprehend, because people typically cut somebody off because you don't like what they say, or you just don't feel like going back and forth with that person, and you just decide to stop talking to them. So that was an interesting fact. But you are absolutely right nonetheless. If something is making you anxious and every time you go there, that's a form of mental abuse. That means something is not right, and it's true, you should cut them off. But at the same time, it's how we got to start to figure out that line between why or who we should be cutting off, or what we should be cutting off. What do you think?
Okay, so right. So the way I can speak for myself, the way that I run things, right? I wouldn't want to be ghosted, so I'm not going to ghost people. But what I am going to do is express to you how you're making me feel. And due to that, I no longer want to talk to you. I always do that, because when you ghost people, you cut people off, depending on how that person is, it can cause them to have abandonment issues. And then you don't know how they're going to be with the next person. So to
It's like,
me,
let me
I'm not I'm a promoter of if this person is not good for you, to stay away from them, but
Mm-hmm.
to cut any ties cleanly, let them know, and then let that be it. That way, the person knows. They know what they did. They know how they made you feel, and
Mm-hmm.
you no longer want them to have access to you, right?
Yes.
So to me, I'm a promoter. This person giving you anxiety, they doing X, Y, Z, cut them off. But for me, I like to tell you why you're about to be cut. That's just
See,
what I
and I
like to
think
do.
that's what which I like. I'm gonna tell you why I'm about to cut you off. We need to follow Tay a little bit, y'all.
I
That's what we
always do
really
that. You
need
can
to
ask
do.
anybody. You can ask anybody I cut off. I let them know I'm cutting you off and the reason why.
And
It's
here is your
disrespectful.
why. That's
And here
nice.
is your why. I'm a nice person. But no, I'm lying. I'm not. I'm not a nice person. But I'm gonna let you. I don't ever want you to not know what I'm thinking about you or how I'm feeling about you. So I'm gonna tell you that way you know. And then there's no gray area for you to, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
wonder what that person thinks about me. I wonder, how they feel. I'm gonna let you know.
But
That way you can sit with the reality and not the fiction.
not the reality and not the fiction. Oh God. All right. So for those who are suffering from mental health, who do you recommend? What are the lines that you recommend for someone to call, or what are some things that you recommend someone should do if they feel a sense of depression or anxiety, either or
Let's
mental
get into that.
disorder?
So, right. So tough, especially for people of color, right?
Yes.
I feel like people of color, we don't know where to go or what to do to maintain our mental health. I think it's just started being active now where people of color don't mind reaching out to a mental health professional, right? And so even with that, I've noticed people of color will reach out but won't continue their treatment. Uh, like they won't continue their treatment plan. They'll do a few sessions. They'll say, "Oh, this doesn't work for me," and then try to figure things out. It's
Just
weird.
to cut you off real quick, why do you think that though? What do you think are the reasons why they're not completing fully through?
Oh, with so many reasons. We can go through reasons of course. You don't want to pay for that. Like you rather get your lip gloss from Sephora than to pay for mental health treatment. The fellow want to get his Jordans instead of paying the therapist to assist with his mental health well-being. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's so many factors on why we continue, and then we don't give it a chance.
Yeah.
That could be another thing too. We don't give it a chance to
Mm,
see if it's gonna work, uh, and we just cut it off.
yeah.
So it's some factors on why we don't continue. But I'm just gonna say to maintain the mental health and well-being. Here's a few tips, right? Sometimes we don't know where to start, and we just get stuck in this thing of, I'm mentally unwell, mentally unwell. I don't know where to start. I don't want to share it with my friends and my family, right? Another thing too, you have to realize sometimes people don't care what you're going through.
Mm.
They really don't. They have their own things going on. So how are they going to have the time to take on yours, right?
Amen.
And we have to come to the conclusion of who we're able to talk to, right? Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of people, I have a lot of educated and smart friends, but those people, I can't call them. I can't call them when I'm going through something or when, one of these mental health was, one of them was activated. I can't call my friend and say, oh, this is what happened and I'm feeling this way. I can rarely do that because on the other end, too, there's nothing that a person can say sometimes to soothe you. So
Mm.
you have to work on these things yourself to continue to maintain your mental health and well-being, right?
Mm.
You have
That's
to You had
Now,
that
what
comes a
are
lot
these
of
things
that
we're
comes
working
with
on? Give me my list.
right.
What am
But
I
it comes
working
with a
on?
lot of happiness, right? So it comes with a lot of happiness and joy that you can't get these things from others. You have to create it for yourself, right?
Mm.
So here are a few tips. Spend time with friends and family that you have a good time with, right?
Okay.
There's probably a lot of friends you have, you don't want to spend your time with them. So spend your time with the people that bring you joy. You bringing the joy already. You bringing the joy and the happiness to the table. These
Yeah.
people are just extra for that, right? So make time and make plans to spend time with people that contribute to that. That's a part of
Okay.
social and mental health well-being, right?
Yep.
Uh, talk about and express your feelings regularly. This is a problem a lot of people have.
Myself, I
Are
don't
you are
express
you including yourself in that? So let me
because
tell
I
you
don't.
why that's not. Let me tell you why that's unhealthy. Q. Let me tell you because if you are thinking and feeling a way about someone or a thing, right? If you keeping that in, you're the only person that knows. How the hell am I going to know how to treat you better? Or if there's something that I said that you don't like and you don't tell me, how are we going to work on fixing this and
It's
making
true.
you feel better? So here
It's
you
so
are,
true.
you sitting, you upset about something I said. You keep it in for weeks, you fuming, and I don't know. How am I going to know if you don't talk and express your feelings regularly? When people do that, let me tell you, in layman's terms, that's a form of constipation. So why are we continuing to constipate ourselves with our thoughts and the other person doesn't know? Tell me what sense does that make?
That is so true.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. And I can speak for my own personal experience where I have a lot of siblings, over 10 siblings, right?
Okay.
You have some of these people that are holding things in that our parents did to them when they were 6, 7, 10 years old, instead of you just go telling the fool,
Mm-hmm.
how is this person going to know that this action from so many years ago has affected your entire life? I'm going to say
Wow.
that's enough. I'm going to say that's the number one tip. Express to
It
people how you feel.
Phil.
Because
Number
you know
one.
what? Number one, let's just raise that up to number one because that's 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 dumping. That's
Yeah.
dumping. How am I going to sit with all these feelings and the other person don't even know? A closed mouth is never going to get fed. How are you going to eat and get what you need if you're not expressing the way that you feel? Please make it make sense to me.
That's my saying, a closed mouth don't get fed. You know how many times I tell people that? They be like, oh, I wish I could. I be like, did you open it? But wow, preaching to a choir. Now
Mm,
I got to tell that to myself. Closed mouth don't get fed, Q. You feel me? All right,
thank
cool.
you.
That works.
Thank you. Thank you.
What else is on your
Another
list?
thing, reducing the alcohol consumption. Reducing
Mm,
the consumption. Yes, yes, yes. You have to reduce it.
well, I
I
don't
know
drink
we
as
like to
much as I
drink,
used to,
okay,
but that's
good,
an
good,
interesting thought. Okay.
good,
Now, why is
good.
that?
So
Why does
you
alcohol
have,
cause
you
more
have,
depression?
it really correlates to it because once you come off of that pretty much high of drinking, uh, possible hangover, you back to square one. So your chemistry, when you put too much of that substance in it, can also cause you to continue to go down a spiral. So
Wow.
it's alcohol and illicit drugs.
Wow.
Let's not get into the thing of why. That's a whole nother episode
That
on why people. That's a whole nother episode on why people like to use drugs. A lot of
yeah.
people like to use drugs because they don't want to be here on Earth. They
So
want
it
to take
takes
a
them off.
moment to go out and off into space. Use the illicit drugs. Where
That's
in turn
interesting.
that can also cause a mental health condition. So you got to be careful with that. It's okay to have a little fun. You want to party, but try not to so much.
Okay.
Right? Keeping active and eating well. There's a lot of people that don't eat well. There's a lot of people that want to go to Wendy's, want to go to McDonald's. You don't drink no water. You don't eat no fruit. You're wondering why you smell like a whole old pair of house keys because you don't eat well. And so it's very important. Listen. I don't like exercising, but I know that it's important to do. I don't. Y'all see my little exercise videos I'm showing you?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I thought you was up here with it.
Listen, I do it because I need to, not because I love to. And if that's going to contribute to me being mentally well, I'm going to continue to be active.
Amen.
Right? Because I know that that's a step that I have to take. I don't love exercising, but I know that I have to do it, because it contributes to my well-being and to my health, as well as eating well. Thank you. Thank you. You too, baby. You too. But
I was like, I did want to cut you off real quick. I had 2 comments from my viewers. One of them said our community does have a stigma with seeing a therapist. And another commenter said, you're speaking the truth. It is true. Understanding is the most of the challenge. That is true.
Right.
But continue with your list.
So, all right. So, and then we'll get back to those comments. But keeping active, eating well, you have to do it. You have to think of where the fast food comes from. All of the ingredients that are in it can also contribute to you not being well.
Yeah.
And so when you eat well, it's going to contribute to your well-being. Setting realistic goals. I met somebody that say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. But you didn't start from where you have to start to achieve those things that you're thinking. So set realistic goals, which is going to help you maintain your mental health and your well-being. The last part, because the list is long, but the last and the most important is get enough sleep. You have people that's always up during the midnight hour. Let me tell you one thing about me, and that's why you really not gonna see me with no bags, none of that. I have my phone set to wind down at 9:45 for me to get into bed by 10 p.m. 10 p.m. my phone is cut off. My phone is cut off. From Monday to Thursday, 10 p.m. I'm in the bed. The only other time is when I'm going to the podcast on Tuesday. I'm in the bed a little late. But other than that, my phone is set 9:45 to get into bed. If you get enough sleep, that's also contribute to you healing. And good to be all night, for you to be up on your phone, scrolling through. You have to stop doing that and get some sleep to contribute to your mental health well-being.
That's good.
That's it.
All right, so run through this list real quick. Let's start, just run through your 5 numbers real quick so we can list this out. So number 1, communicate your feelings, express yourself. Correct.
Right. Talk about and express yourself regularly. Don't wait months later and say, hey, Q, you remember when you said in February? No. We can't even address it now. Okay. Let it take a day or 2. Don't let that thing stretch over a week. Express yourself regularly on how people are making you feel and certain things that are happening, how it's making you feel. That's the only way that you're going to work on it. If you don't do that, all you're going to do is constipate yourself with your thoughts, right? And then you're going to explode on the wrong person. You're going to explode on the wrong. So let's work on expressing ourselves regularly and telling people how we feel and how they're making us feel. Spend time with your friends and your family that bring you happiness and joy. Not all
That's
of the
true.
friends we have make us happy. You know, they're there for whatever reason that they're there, but those that you know that you have a good time with,
Mm-hmm.
to be with them often, right? Number three, lower that alcohol and that illicit drug use. Let's lower it, because if you
Yep.
continue to do that, it will cause you to develop a mental health disorder. So
Interesting.
definitely reduce that. Another thing, setting realistic goals.
Ooh,
Set your goals to be realistic. You have to start from the bottom to reach the top, right?
amen.
You can't just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I'm going to be a millionaire." No, there's several steps that you have to take in order for you to get to what you want to achieve. And the
Unless you got
last
rich
thing,
daddy.
right? And the last thing is get enough sleep. We have to go to bed. Why are you up 3 o'clock in the morning scrolling through Instagram and Facebook? What is there for you? What is there for you when you could be drinking water, eating a piece of fruit, reading a book, and take your tail to bed? What
No
you up
lie.
on Instagram for?
I could literally take this soundbite and just put you on TikTok and just have, when you scroll in, be like, go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Scrolling?
Right,
Like
right.
literally put you on TikTok.
Go
No,
ahead,
this
put
is
me on
real.
it. Why are you scrolling? Go to bed.
There, we got the soundbite. So please let our followers know. There you guys have it. These are our 5 steps. Now, for our followers, our talkers who are interested in exploring more in these steps or maybe learning a little bit more of the other steps that you have listed, let us know, where can they find you?
Well, I don't do too much of this talking on anywhere.
You got a
But
podcast.
oh, I do, and I am gonna listen. I am gonna start it up this summer. You know how these things are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when there's so many logistics and you're not mentally there
Yep.
to do these things and have these conversations with people. But I plan on coming back this summer, right, and giving y'all more stories and more topics to listen to. But on the things that I currently have now, I don't do too much of this talking, but I'm definitely free to talk to people if they need to know, where to go and what to do and what to start. I give that for free. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. If you say to me, "Hey, I want to be mentally well. I want to figure out, what it is I need to do," I'm gonna give that to you for free.
There y'all have a Q Talks exclusive. Free talk with Tay if y'all need to get mentally well.
Not talk. Just ask me a question, and I'm gonna direct you to where you need to go. I'm not.
That is.
I'm not sitting. I'm not sitting on no phone or no line with nobody, but definitely I'll give you a link to something or someplace that I know where you can start. Because that's what we go through a lot. We just sitting there dealing with whatever we're dealing with, and we don't know where to start.
That's the problem. It's the starting point. Well, now that we started with us, so you are weekly every Tuesday on I'm Just Saying podcast show, and also how often do you do your podcast so people can tune in and view? So every Tuesday we're tuning in on Twitch, I'm Just Saying show, and on Instagram and everything, right? Yes, to come see Tay and listen to Tay. Y'all have to listen to her because the things she be saying.
I'm just saying show. Those are my friends over there, Kevin and HL. I think a lot of people don't know that I've known Kevin for over 10 years, and he was actually my coworker.
No.
Me and Kevin worked at a mental health facility place, and we just stayed friends, this entire time. And I met HL through him, and we're just like, to be honest with you, we're just like a little family.
It's very cute. I've been on their show, and they make you very comfortable. It's very funny, entertaining, especially when Tay be having her shocking burst out comments. But yes, please tune in
I
every
always have an
Tuesday.
outburst all the time.
Always,
All the
always.
time.
So please tune
Mm-hmm.
in every Tuesday to tune into her and your podcast. How often are you doing it? Or you got just, I guess, follow you and then wait and
Right.
see
So
what you do?
yeah, they can just follow me over there at a dose of reveal. I also have a site that I'm not gonna lie to y'all that I don't work on. It's called doseofreveal.org, where you can go on there and you can listen to every episode that I've done, and also see the transcript of the explanation of the episodes. I think that they're going to be most important to those that want to listen to or have experienced certain things with the titles that you see there. And I just want to be able to continue to create that content that people can find, or talks that people don't talk a lot about. And so mental health is one of them that we do steer away from discussing and really wanting to learn the logistics of it, which is very important. You know, a mental health disorder is really considered a disease, and it can be in the same category as someone having diabetes.
Wow.
And with nutrition, for you to be able to treat your mental health in that same way.
I was like,
And
your
that's
phone
whether
went
you're
out.
taking medication.
Your phone went out. You said that mental health is similar to having diabetes, and then it went out.
Hypertension. I said diabetes and hypertension. You have to treat those conditions, right? It's assisted with having a better life and a healthier life, you know. And it's the same thing with substance use disorder. A lot of people think, oh, you know, it's to this drug because they want to be. At some point, substance abuse disorder is really a disease. It's really a disease of the brain. And the only way that we are going to be able to get out of these things is that we have to work on them daily. We have to work on them daily. So there's a lot of people that are on medication. There's a lot of people that are off their medication, right? And it has to be what assists you with balancing your life the best way that you can, right? So I don't promote medication. No, to help them become balanced again. And that's all it is. And let's really talk about the logistics of mental health. These things are genetic. These things are some things that you're not going to escape. Mental health is environmental. You're both in a certain environment. That's what assists with control. So these are things that you got to work on daily to get yourself out of. Right? Sometimes there are people that do need it to balance themselves back. You don't have to be on the medication forever, but there are some points that you need it in order to be able to maintain a daily living. And to get yourself to do the things that you need to do to contribute to your own life.
I am so informed and so happy that I was able to have this conversation with you, especially that I didn't know your background was fully in the mental health aspect. I thought it was just more so with just the podcast and
Listen, okay. I know I play around a lot because, you know, life is so serious anyway. I like to joke around, but I have been in the mental health field, I'm going to say, over 15 years, right? And it's a passion for me to be able to assist people, assist people with being mentally well. That's a passion of mine. It doesn't make the best money, doesn't make the most money, but
it's so rewarding
and fulfilling to do. you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I was in undergrad and I went to complete my degree in psychology, I said, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to be a psychologist." Then I said, "Nah, I can't. I can't sit here and listen to people's problems all day." So I just get off. I just get off to doing something else. You know, sometimes I feel like I abandoned. You know, I decided not to continue my education in psychiatry, but it was for myself. I said I can't sit here and listen to people problems all day, so I just wound up doing something else. But I just do the same thing with just a little touch of it, just a
Yeah.
little
No, you
sprinkle,
just guide them.
just a little sprinkle, you know.
Well,
So you know, it's really rewarding for me.
well, I believe you are in your chosen path because you have shed a lot of light on the topic of mental health for myself and my talkers, especially
Mm.
with them commenting on Facebook and so I am grateful to have you as a guest. We would love to have you again for sure. And I plan on having all three of
Right,
you guys because I
right.
know if I
Ask me
have all
some
three of
more
you guys
questions.
together, yeah, I'm here for
Mhm.
it. You know me. This is all I
Mhm.
do for fun. But so for my talkers who are listening, please be sure to follow Tay, A Dose of Revel 2020,
A
A
dose
Dose of
of
Reveal.
reveal.
I keep
Yeah.
saying
So
Revel, A Dose of Reveal
I don't
2020.
know why you keep saying that,
I
but
don't know. I don't
is a
know.
is a dose of reveal, and the reason why I named it that is because and it's go back to you and you holding everything in. You cannot heal from anything that you do not reveal.
Mm,
So you understand that you cannot heal from things that you
I'm
don't
learning.
reveal. If I don't know what's hurting you, how am I going to help you?
Honestly, I used to be better with expressing myself. Then I stopped expressing myself. But then now I'm starting to express myself a lot more. And I feel a
Mm.
lot better. I'll tell you that much. It's a lot
Mm-hmm.
more weight off my shoulders. I've been given
Good.
phone calls like, hey, let's talk real quick. I'm ready to talk now. But I needed to
Good.
cleanse. I had to get me together first. I had to get me balanced before, I go in and then I'm like
Mm.
toppled over. But
Mm.
you're right. If I don't speak, how would they know? They're not
Mm-hmm.
in my head. They're not here. So for my talkers who are listening, make sure you that's one of the biggest giveaway. Make sure you express yourself for sure.
Has to be. Has
All
to be.
right. Well, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for
Thank
spending
you.
your break with us. All right.
Yes,
So,
yes.
all right. Till later, you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.